movie begins with a news story telling that locals in Russia heard a loud noise at night and found a burning crater. Authorities believe that this crater is not natural, but it has been formed due to the scientific experiment of a human, and its depth is not yet known. It is said that some locals were also injured by this explosion. Just then, a boy named Evan comes running to the room and wakes up his friends Peter and Trish. He asks them to watch the news and says that all this happened because of their experiment. In the next scene, we see his group doing some experiments in the college lab. Those people were about to do a retest after this experiment. In this, they wanted to teleport Peter's watch to another transponder through one transponder. Trish and Ward take a transponder and come to a deserted place far away, and they were also in contact with Peter on a video call. Ward was not feeling all this right, but Trish had full faith in her boyfriend Peter. Both the transponders get connected as soon as Peter sends the signal. Due to this, the watch placed on the transponder of the lab disappears. Seeing that, they all become very happy, thinking that their experiment is working. But on the other hand, instead of being connected to the watch, there's a strange sound and the transponder gets destroyed and explosions start, due to which their connection gets lost. When Peter goes to check on that place with the rest of his friends, they see that there was a crater formed just like the one in Russia. All of a sudden, that crater starts pulling everyone inside, and except Evan, everyone else gets pulled inside it. On the other hand, when those people come to their senses, they find themselves in ruin. They call out to Evan and try to contact him through a walkie-talkie, but all they hear is a strange noise. Just then, Peter sees Ava's tail, which was not there in the reel, and he thinks that he is seeing things due to lack of oxygen. Then they realize the passing of a creature from below, which suddenly appears in front of them. Fearing that, they all start running from there. Here Evan goes back to the college and meets Professor Marrow. Your teleportation teacher? Evan tells him about their experiment and the mess, hearing which the professor leaves with him. On the other hand, the rest of the people reach in front of a big door on which something was written in some other language that they do not understand. Suddenly many monsters come there, and to escape from them, they come to the other side of the door and close the door. Only then do they find Peter's watch there. Seeing that, they understand that their watch was teleported to this place. Peter says that they have opened a portal to another dimension, and they see that something was written on the other side of the door as well. Giles tells that this means that before coming here, leave all your hopes, and Peter understands that they have been teleported to hell. But Slade didn't believe in hell. Just then, Lucia finds Trish's bracelet there and also sees some blood drops, which makes her understand that Trish and Ward are also there and they may be injured. Suddenly some sound comes, and there comes a monster named Collector, whose job is to collect dead bodies from hell. They all hide after seeing him, and the Collector comes very close to them after smelling something, due to which they all get very nervous. But then he picks up a dead body lying nearby and leaves from there. After he leaves, they all come out, and Slade feels that it is just a dream. Peter then tells that they have to find Trish and Ward and then find a way out. After going a little further, they see more blood, and Peter says through this they can reach Trish and Ward. They also have the transponder. That is their last hope to get out of here. Just then a flying monster comes there, and they all start running towards a room to escape. But Slade doesn't, because he thought it was a dream. Then that monster attacks him and eats his head, and everyone else goes inside through a door, and everyone reaches different places. Just then Peter hears his father's voice, who is asking him for help. When Peter walks toward him, he sees his very terrifying face. Fearing that, Peter runs from there and goes inside another door, which happens to be a church. Here Ava reaches an old building where she hears the cry of a child. On going forward, she hears music, and in the kitchen, there is a heart on the pan that is still beating. Seeing this, Ava starts to vomit, and then an old woman comes there who has a hole in the place of her heart. Seeing her, Ava runs away in fear, and after running out of the building, she falls. After which she reaches a forest. In the next scene, we see Lucia, who had reached a tunnel. There the dead bodies of many workers start chasing her. Fearing that, Lucia goes inside a door where she sees two dead bodies hanging in front of her. There are stairs too, and she starts coming down from them, but she was coming again and again on the same floor. After this, we see Giles when a man trapped in the bushes asks him for help, but Giles gets scared of him. Then the Collector comes there. Seeing that Giles hides behind a wall where some vines grab him. Here Evan and Professor Marrow reach that crater. The professor gets very angry at Evan seeing this and tells him that his friends may have reached some other corner of the world through this portal, or they have opened a dimensional rift, through which all of them must have reached some other dimension apart from this world. Here Peter hears Trish's voice from a room, and when he goes there to check, he finds Trish's camera in which Ava's video is playing. There were dead bodies lying all around in that room. seeing which Peter was also scared, and suddenly the door closes. Here in the forest, some dogs start chasing Ava, and while running, Ava sees a man who asks her for help. But Ava runs away from there, and those dogs attack the man and start eating him. On the other hand, after the collector leaves, Giles sees Ward there. Giles calls him out, but he does not listen. Then he somehow frees himself from the vines and goes after Ward. Ward's condition was not looking well, and he tells Giles to stay away from him. Giles still goes to him and asks him about the transponder, but Ward attacks him and knocks him unconscious. And we see that one arm of Ward has been transformed. Here Lucia sees a door through which she reaches the church, where she sees Trish as she moves forward. She runs to her and both of them hug each other. Trish tries to forcefully make out with her, but Lucia pushes her back, to which Trish starts crying apologetically. Lucia tries to console her, and suddenly Trish turns into a demon and then puts her tongue in her mouth and takes out her soul. Here Evan wanted to call the police, but Professor Marrow stops him and says that he will try to rectify this mistake and he needs his help in this. He wanted to reverse this experiment so that he could become famous for this new scientific discovery. But when Evan does not listen to him, he hits him and knocks him unconscious. Here Peter somehow comes out of there, where he sees Trish in front. Peter is overjoyed to see her, and the two hug each other. Trish tells him that when she came here, Lucia was lying dead here. And then suddenly she transforms into a monster and tries to attack Peter. But Peter attacks her and knocks her unconscious. Then Peter starts getting strange sounds, which causes him a lot of trouble, and suddenly Trish again appears in front of him and many insects start coming out of her mouth. And seeing this, Peter runs away in fear. Here Ava reaches a river where she finds a boat. Trish also comes there after her, and both of them are very happy to see each other. Ava asks her about Ward, to which she tells that he ran away and hasn't seen him since. They then think of leaving through the boat, but then suddenly a creature appears there, seeing which both of them get very scared. He asks them for their souls as payment and then starts blowing a horn. Here suddenly Peter wakes up in class and sees that all his friends are in class with him. Then he sees that Slade is sitting with his head down, and when they wake him up, they get horrified to see his scary face. Next, we see Giles, who was lying on a table with his hands and feet tied. Just then a creepy old nurse comes there who puts 3 leeches on his wound which get inside his stomach. After this, a huge leech emerges from a dead body lying on the table next to him, which starts moving towards him. But then Peter comes there and kills that leech. Then he starts to untie Giles. But only then the nurse comes there and starts attacking Peter. But Giles kills the nurse and saves Peter. Here Professor Marrow brings Evan to the lab and asks him to help him. Evan tells him that they link the 2 transponders on the same frequency. Hearing this, the professor tries to make a connection with another transponder and learns that the portal will be open only for 3 hours. And if they cannot return during this time, then they will be stuck there forever. Here, when Trish and Ava regain consciousness, they find themselves tied with chains, and there were many dead bodies lying around them. Then they see a key there and they think that it is the key to open these chains. Trish tries to pick it up, but her hand doesn't reach there, so she asks Ava to try. When Ava tries to reach the key, a blade swings there, cutting off her finger. Then after some time Peter and Giles reach them. Seeing that both of them are happy, Peter tells them that Lucia is dead and Giles uses the key to untie their chains. But then the collector comes there and tries to catch them. He throws the chain towards them, which traps Peter. But before the collector can kill him, Ava pulls the chain and releases the blade, killing the collector. On the other hand, we see that the second transponder is with Ward, which is blinking. Here all the other people get Ward's shoe and they feel that he will be somewhere nearby. Then Ward comes in front of them and asks them if they want this transponder. They see that the transponder is blinking, which means that Evan is trying to contact them. But Ward does not give them the transponder and throws it into the fire. After that, he gets transformed and becomes a monster. Now everyone gets scared after seeing this and starts running from there. But when there is no other way out, Peter kills him with the collector's weapon. Here, with the destruction of the transponder, their last hope of getting out of there was also over. Then they reach a room where Giles was having trouble breathing and he tells them about the leeches. Peter cuts his stomach with the help of a blade and throws out the leeches, after which they seal his wound with the help of fire. Then suddenly a monster comes there, fearing that all of them run away from there. Here the professor sees that the connection of the transponder has failed, so he decides to go to that crater. Here Peter tells everyone that this place is playing with their minds and is showing them whatever they have read or heard about Helson's childhood. Then many dead bodies start moving towards them, in which there is also a body of Slade. They hide in a room to escape them, where Peter asks them how the heroes survive in the famous Hell movies, to which Giles tells him about Charon, also known as the Fairman. That's when Trish and Ava tell that they saw a man who was asking for payment from them. Hearing this, Giles says that his payment is a coin placed in the mouth of the dead to secure safe passage from Charon across the river. Then the dead bodies start coming in and they all run away from there. Peter takes them to a room where there were a lot of dead bodies and they start looking for coins, and they also see Lucia's body there. Then Peter finds a coin in the mouth of a dead body. But only then that dead body comes alive and starts attacking him. But Trish saves Peter by killing him. Then another collector comes there and they all start acting like being dead. But the collector finds out that they are alive and attacks Peter, but Trish again saves Peter. Then they start running towards the lift, but the collector catches Giles and starts eating him. Peter kills the collector and then all of them start running away and all the dead bodies come alive and start moving towards them. Now Giles was very much injured in all this, so he dies by giving them coins. Then after getting out of the lift, they reaches a building which is a theater, and there were some clips playing on the screen. Peter tries to break the screen but it does not break and the weapon goes inside it. Seeing this, Peter understands that this is a portal through which they can go to the places seen in it. Then when the video of the forest comes, they enter the screen and reach the forest where many dogs start chasing them. The dog catches Ava and starts eating her. Here Professor Mayer was trying to make another hole inside that hole by doing an experiment, but for which he needed a lot of power. He powers the transponder from the car's battery and the portal opens. Here Trish and Peter reach the boat where Charon asks for payment. But Peter did not have that coin in his pocket. Peter then gives him his watch, but Charon says that he will take only one person for a coin. So Peter asks Trish to leave, and as soon as they board the boat, Peter attacks Charon and kills him. After this, both of them start leaving there in the boat and they see the portal made by the professor. But then a monster comes there and takes Peter away, and Trish comes out of that portal alone. In the last scene, we see that Peter also somehow comes out of Russia through the portal which the forces are examining there. Just then Trish calls on his phone and is overjoyed to find him alive, and the movie ends there.